Hey everybody, it's Jamie from Plum Island Sea Cabin, and it's snowing today. But it's not going to stop us. We have to dig out because this weekend we had plans to go to my sister's and hit some beaches on the Cape, and we want to take you with us. Check it out. We can get out, and if we can get out, that means we can get to the beach. Even though it's wet and cold, it's very beautiful. Cleanup is done. Let's hope we don't get too much more. Hey everybody, it's Jamie from Plum Island Sea Cabin, and we made it to the Cape. I am here with my sister, Tracy. Hi! We're so super excited because we are finding bay scallops everywhere on this beach, and they're all different colors and they're beautiful. They're everywhere. They're all over the beach. So we're going to take you along with us, show you the beach, show you what we find. So let's get to shelling. So we're here on the upper rock line, and this is where the snow meets the sand. So this is where the water had come up, pulled the snow out, melted it, and then receded back to the water. So we're about an hour and a half away from low tide. So I'm up here searching this rock line, and my sister is down there searching the lower rock line. But where the snow meets the sand, there are some very cool shells. It's a good size bay scallop right here. So today's the day of the bay scallop. I mean, I feel like this is what we're going to be finding, and we found an abundance of them. But there's some buried in the snow in the upper rock line, and there are some that are just appearing now as the tide goes out. So we're going to collect a bunch of these today. Coming up on another couple big bay scallop shells. These are really beautiful. There's another one right next to it. There's a little bit of a hole in it, but worth the mention. I am very pleased with what we are finding today. And this is a very nice treat for something a little bit different than our Plum Island shells. So later on, we are going to take these home, you guys, and we're going to clean them up and polish them up so you can see all the really cool calico colors and all the different colors that the bay scallops come in. So bay scallops can go anywhere from like brown, red, gray, purple, calico colored. There are all different kinds of pinks, purple ones, but they come in a wide variety of color. And that's what we were hoping for today. We were hoping for that awesome bay scallop color. Can't believe how many there are here. This is so exciting. You found that one in the water? Oh my goodness, Tracy. That is amazing.
I love it. It's gorgeous.
Ah,
Yep.
that is a beautiful shell. What did you do when you saw it?
I saw it out there and I was like, I think that's whole. And then I walked right in. I grabbed it.
I love it. That is an awesome shell. These shells are magnificent. I am so happy today. I'm so glad. On the way over here, we were worried. We're like, are we going to find shells? Are we not going to find shells? And we are definitely having a jackpot day with shells. These shells here, these are the quahogs that are on Plum Island. And if I can get the sand out of it for you, we do have these on Plum Island, and these have that nice purple on the inside, which is referred to as the wampum. And here we're actually finding a lot of rounded, nice, smooth pieces of wampum that the ocean tumbled. So we don't find a lot of that on Plum Island, but we are finding it here. But we do get these on Plum Island. These are the quahogs, the hardshell clams. Look at those really cool ribs on this bay scallop. I am so glad we made the trip out here today. And I'm so glad that you're here with us. Let's see what else we can find. It's another very cool bay scallop shell here. And then there's a jingle shell here. So all different types of jingle shells. So all of these really cool shells don't make it up as far north as we are on Plum Island. Look at the seaweed. We're gonna have to find out the name of it. This definitely,
pretty, right?
yeah, this definitely does not wash up on Plum Island. But also too, like, I am glad we live in an area that there's nothing that I have to worry about touching that could harm me, because I feel like I would be making a lot of trips to the emergency room because I'm so tactile. I need to touch things. But it definitely feels like a bunch of, to describe for you all that are watching, it feels like a slew of gummy worms. But we'll look up the type of seaweed that is, and maybe I'll put it up on the screen for you. Look at this rock line coming up, and then check out this rock that is covered with seaweed, and there's a bunch of shells mixed into it. Again, there's some bay scallops here, some slipper shells. Like, this is the kind of situation I feel like we would find the seahorse in. So I am going to give this area a good once over, because I feel like if I was a little dried up seahorse and the tide was washing me in and out, I would definitely get tangled up in some of this seaweed. It's a nice jingle shell. Nice jingle shell that was trapped there in the seaweed. Jingle shells are kind of cool because if you get a bunch of them and shake them around in your hand, they actually do make a jingly sound. It's like shell after shell after shell after shell. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad we decided to dig out of the snow and make the trip down here. It's so well worth it. I mean, look at all this. Look at all of them. I'm like freaking out. And as I get closer and closer to the jetty that's down there, so there's a jetty down there that we're heading towards because we are on the Cape. So I am hoping we might be able to find like a knobbed or a channeled whelk that got maybe trapped or stuck into some of those rocks. But Tracy's already down there because I'm super slow because I need to see every little thing. But we're heading over there. And just a little information on the knobbed and channeled whelk. They do tend to get trapped in the jetty sometimes. So that's why we're heading in that direction. But Cape Cod is actually like a natural barrier to that species range, as well as the bay scallops and everything else we're finding here. So most of these shells we do not find on Plum Island, which makes today like a very special treat for us. It's nice to get out and venture out every once in a while, see what else we can find. A little different from the areas that we live in. So like I said, you guys, they are everywhere. And they're all different colors. Some mixed in here with the seaweed. Oops. Oh, this would have been a really nice one, but it's busted. Has a little bit of a limpet on the top of it. Has a slipper shell, a couple slipper shells attached to it. So that big slipper shell on the bottom, that's actually the female, and the male is that little one that's on the top. And what the slipper shells actually do is they attach themselves to hard surfaces and substrates. So if there's no rocks or anything around, they'll attach themselves to shells or each other. So usually there you find piles of them stuck together, which I'm sure we'll find on this beach because this beach is actually loaded with slipper shells. What's really interesting about the slipper shell is that they have both female and male reproductive organs. When they're small like that, they're males, and as they get older and larger, they actually become female. And so when they're small like that, the male reproductive organs are active, and when they're older, the female reproductive organs become active. Wow. My goodness, look at the red on this. I love that. I can't believe all the different colors, like the wide range of colors these come in. Can you? So right here, we are at the jetty. And we are going to check this jetty out in all the crevices to see if we can find any of the knobbed or channeled whelks that might have washed up in the tide and gotten caught in it. And as I mentioned earlier, we're on Kalmus Beach, which is the southern portion of the Cape. And this is like a prime location for finding knobbed or channeled whelks. If we were going to find one, I feel like this is where it would be. So we're going to check out every crevice of this jetty to see if one possibly washed up and got caught in here. So we're going to check it out. So we walked all the way out in the jetty, and I couldn't film and walk on the rocks at the same time, so I couldn't take you with me for the entire trek because safety first. But we did not find a knobbed whelk or a channeled whelk. So we walked to the end of that and back. No score on the whelks, but we're going to keep looking. I'm going to take one more look at the jetty before we head back down the beach in the other direction. Just make sure we're not missing anything. I'd be super bummed out if we were this close to finding a whelk. But this would be the area we would find one because the natural barrier for that shell species actually stops on the southern beaches of the Cape, which is exactly where we are. So there wouldn't be an overabundance of them here. But if we were going to find a whelk, it would probably be on one of these beaches on the Cape. I see something interesting down there that I'm going to turn the camera off, poke my hand in, see if I can grab it, and then turn the camera back on. I will be right back. So you guys, I stuck my hand down there and evidence of a channeled whelk. So we are in the right spot. And like I said, if we were going to find one, it would be here. And we found a piece of one, which is exciting for me because this is the closest I've ever come to finding one. But I'm going to spend a little bit more time in the jetty to see what we can make happen here. So I feel like if this is here, there's got to be more. So here's a jetty find. We have cockles in the jetty. We have some hard shell clams. Not much difference between what's caught in the jetty and what's on the beach so far, but I'm still hopeful. There's about 1,000,000 slipper shells in there, if you can see all those slipper shells. So slipper shells are invasive, and they have a big problem with them in Europe because they attach themselves to hard surfaces. If they don't have any hard substrates, they attach to each other, but then they also attach to oysters, and they are a detriment to oyster beds. They tend to cover the oyster beds and smother them, which is not good for commercial oystering. Slipper shells are not my favorite shell. Some of them I do find interesting. This is a really good example of how they stack and attach to each other. So imagine hundreds of thousands of these on an oyster bed and how they completely smother the oyster beds and how detrimental that could be to the oyster beds. So that's what's bad about these slipper shells. I did do some online research, and they did say that slipper shells are edible and they have a very sweet meat to them. So in the next few years, to control the population, because like I said, they are very invasive and they're exploding everywhere. To control their population, they might be introducing them commercially into the shellfish market. You might start seeing some of these at your local seafood restaurants or being sold for seafood dishes. So if they start selling these commercially, the marketing on them will probably come up with some very cool advertising name that makes it more palatable and more desirable for people to buy. Like the Patagonian toothfish, which is actually the real name for Chilean sea bass. So I will order Chilean sea bass from a menu. I probably would not order Patagonian toothfish. So these might become the next rage in the seafood industry to both control the population of them, but also they are quite tasty from what I hear. I have not experienced it myself. I have not tasted these, but from what I've read, they're quite tasty. Finding so many good beach treasures today. Beach treasure everywhere. All the beach loot. So there was just too much curiosity in the water, and my feet were wet anyway. So we decided to go in to see what we can find. Looks like there are a lot of good things here. Ooh, there's a really cool bay scallop that's really big. I'm gonna grab it. That is a good sized bay scallop. Wow. My goodness, there's so much stuff out here. Ooh, there's a piece of a channeled whelk. Tracy, this is where it's at. Look at that. Piece of a channeled whelk. So this is our second piece that we found. It would be awesome to find a whole one. But there's so much good stuff out here. Look how purple that is. You guys, scallops for days. For days. 4 days. There's very interesting things here, but there's a very cool old bottle. I have to get the mud and the muck out of this, but that's really cool to find a fully intact bottle like this. I have to get all the muck out of it. But it is a good bottle find. It does have some writing on the bottom of it, so we will do some investigating once we get it cleaned up to see what bottle it is, where it came from, and how old it is. So stay tuned. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is the moment. I think this is a fully intact knobbed whelk. I'm going in. Ah, the apex broke off, but look at that. This is the shell of the day so far, unless we find something else, but this is definitely a good shell. I mean, the apex is broken, but as you know, that is the first to go in rough water, so that is okay, but this is a great find. It's not covered with the slipper shells, which we like. We don't have to pop those off, but good shell. Very exciting. We're gonna keep this one as a souvenir from Kalmus Beach. See it out there? Another one, you guys. I'm kind of freaking out of all these whelks that we're finding now. I'm so jazzed. It does have a bit of a break in it, but still a very good shell. Wow. Look at this shell. I cannot wait to clean these up. Ah, there's a little bit of a hole in it. But overall, I'm totally stoked about this. So we had a jackpot day today, guys. So many cool things. We found our channeled and knobbed whelks. We found bay scallops, slipper shells, so many cool cape shells. We're definitely coming back to this area because we still have not found a whelk that's fully intact. So we're still on a mission for that. So thanks for shelling with us today, and we will see you next time we hit the beach. Bye.
Bye.